What is up? This is your LA in a minute, and this is a can of Starkist Tuna. This is a can that represents the American dream in Los Angeles, as immigrants came to San Pedro more than a century ago as fishermen, and soon had the largest cannery in the entire world. This is the story of Starkist, but it's also another American dream story from Los Angeles. Let's get into it. Martin Bogdanovich was born in Croatia in 1882, and he emigrated to the United States in 1908, where he settled in San Pedro. Bogdanovich began his career in the fishing business in 1910 as a sardine fisherman on Terminal Island. A group of fishermen had begun operations in the area that would later be known as Fish Harbor. By 1917, Bogdanovich and four associates began a venture of their own in Fish Harbor. It was originally known as the California Fish Company, which was a wholesale dealer in all kinds of fish that they could get from the Pacific Ocean. The company narrowed their scope, focusing mostly on sardines, and they changed the name to the French Sardine Company, and they had astounding success, becoming an early leader in the state's fish canning industry. Soon the sardine supply on the West Coast began to deplete, so the company pivoted, starting to focus on tuna. In 1940, they started packaging their tuna as a new brand, Starkist. The new name took hold and business boomed, with sales soon exceeding $70 million a year. Martin passed away in 1944, and his son Joseph Bogdanovich took over the family business and had eyes on expansion. 1952, the company opened a gleaming new facility on Terminal Island. It was a $2 million facility with 200 square feet, and it was the largest cannery in the world at that point. The company began to market aggressively, including celebrities like Bob Hope in their ads, and by the 1950s, they were the largest tuna supplier on the globe as well. In 1961, they added a mascot, Charlie the Tuna, and sales began to skyrocket even further. They were bought out by Heinz in 1963, but Joseph stayed on as the chief executive. 1974, a major fire nearly destroyed the plant, but it was rebuilt in 1976. In the 1980s, a number of problems began to affect the tuna and the canning industry. So first there were strikes, then there were layoffs. In 1984, the cannery at Terminal Island was shut down for good, and the company moved most of its operations to Puerto Rico and American Samoa. In 2002, the company was sold to Del Monte, but that didn't last long, because in 2006, the Dongwon Group purchased Starkist, and they remain its current owner to this day. So even though the Starkist cannery doesn't exist on Terminal Island anymore, the legacy of its founder, Martin Bogdanovich, still does, because the San Pedro Recreation Center was named in his honor to celebrate his contributions to Los Angeles and the world as yet another LA American dream story. So Los Angeles may not be the fishing city that it once was, but it's still the city that produces the most American dream stories, and Starkist, the largest cannery in the world, was one of them, from right here in Los Angeles. All right, LA, it's been a minute.